broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching Now Media Television.
Welcome to Street MBA, where we discuss entrepreneurship from an evidence-based and practical perspective. Our overall objective being to create a network of business people that are bringing value to their communities. I'm Jonathan, the man in front of the camera, and today's show is action-packed, folks. We got lots of information to share. We want to make sure we get it all in. Today we're asking you, do you have your receipt? We've been discussing a bit about our businesses and how to lay the foundation to put together a business. Now we're going to talk about a little bit about the day-to-day operations in regards to bookkeeping. That sounds like a whole lot of fun, doesn't it? Numbers and ledgers and all that stuff. We want to make it real interesting for you and give you a perspective about it that you may not have been considering prior to this show. But what I want you to do is strap in, because we have some great interviews with some great business women. We have a bookkeeper that also has a tax return business. We also have a CPA that we know pretty good around these parts. She's going to be on the show as well to discuss some intricacies of bookkeeping in our businesses and how we need to approach our businesses in bookkeeping. So before I give away too much of the information for free, let's go to commercial. But before I do, if you're watching on YouTube, please, if you could help us by liking and subscribing to the channel and the video, it makes everything better for us and we were able to see the engagement with the channel. So when we come back, we're getting right into it. Be prepared. Keep on watching Street MBA.
I'm here to take you to a new frontier, the final frontier. In fact, you and I are going where no one has gone before. I'm Glenn Henderson, entrepreneur, success coach, and musician, and I want to personally invite you to take this journey with me in the pages of my best-selling new book, All I Need to Know About Success I Learned from Star Trek. We'll travel aboard the USS Enterprise along with Captain James T. Kirk, Spock, and the finest crew in Starfleet. And we'll learn together about success principles like how to work with a team and accomplish your goals, when to fight for what you believe and when not to, and what your business really is, no matter what you do for a living. Beam aboard with me. My mission is your success, and I'll see you on the bridge. Live long and prosper.
It's Jonathan with Street MBA, and I got my good friend Loveday here, another business owner. He's in the car business, and we're talking about bookkeeping, the importance of different processes in our business. So in reference to bookkeeping, Mr. Loveday, how is it important, or what can you say to us about bookkeeping and the importance it is to your business?
Well, bookkeeping is very important to every business you do, because you have to keep a record of what you're doing, what's coming out, what's going on. If you don't have a proper record, how do you know if you're doing fine or you're not doing fine? So it's always good to have a good record. Bookkeeping is very, very important to any business you want to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Loveday. That's with Street MBA. Stay tuned with us as we continue to go out into the community and find out what people have to say about different aspects of business. That's another example of somebody we had out there actually in the community that we're speaking to. I've said it on a show or two ahead of this one, that we're out in the community actually trying to talk to people and see what their level of knowledge is in regards to business, because we want to be bringing content that's relevant to people that people can actually use, consume, and be able to bring into their own businesses, into their own lives. You don't necessarily have to start a whole company to use some of the principles that we're talking about. When we start talking about budgeting and things of that nature, because when you get into bookkeeping, you get into budgeting. So you can actually use these principles in your own household. You can actually bring peace into your own household when you begin to organize things in a fashion that you can be able to communicate to your entire family. Because listen, you have to be the CEO of your own household as well. So you can be able to develop the leaders that are in, not just in your business, but even that are in your own family. So you can equip them to be business leaders, business people, good community members, so that they can be effective in everything that they do, because that's what you want to do for the people that you love, correct? Am I talking too fast, Khalif? Just let me know if I'm talking too fast for the people. So now, let's dive into it. When you walk into a store and you want to return something because you may have been dissatisfied, or you may just have not needed that particular item, and you bring it back, because we do a lot of that with Amazon. When you bring it back, what is the first thing they ask you? They ask you, do you have your receipt? And they ask that because they want to know, do you have a record of a transaction between you and I, between yourself and that particular company? You may have their product in your hand, but do you have any record of a transaction taking place between you two? Well, if you don't have a receipt, well, if you do have a receipt, I should say, then they have a record in their own records in-house reflecting that they sold you that particular product or service. You may have an invoice from someone, and that's a record showing that you have done business. But if you don't have any records, then how can you say that you have done business at all? We talked a little bit the last couple of episodes about laying the foundation for your company. You have to choose a name. You have to see if that name is searchable and available, and if it even sounds good. Then we even talked about, in reference to your taxes. We talked to the tax man, and we talked to him about banking and the importance of finding the right bank for your business and what exactly you're going to be using your bank account for, right? We talked about those things, but we're going further into the narrative in regards to your business in reference to bookkeeping. Because if I'm considering investing in your business, because that's the number one thing that causes businesses to fail, is a lack of capital. But people, if you have a solid product, if you have a solid service that you're giving to the people, that you're offering to your customers, then people are going to want to use your services, right? They're going to want to invest in your business, because there's people out there, listen, you may or may not know this, but there are people out there walking around with a pocket full of cash. That's symbolically, they have it in their bank account, but they're interested in creating more income for themselves by investing in you. But they're going to ask you, do you have any receipts for your business? They're going to ask you, what do you have to show that you've been doing business and doing business well? That's the importance of bookkeeping, because people want to know if they're going to invest in your business, if they're going to loan you any money, they want to know, do you have any records for any sales that you've made? We've all watched the show Shark Tank at one point, or some form of the show, some type of spin-off of Shark Tank before. What's one of the first questions they ask every single person that comes on that show? They ask them, how many sales have you made? They ask, what's your revenue in the last year? Well, how do you even know that? How do you begin to say? One of my favorite shows is Marcus Lemonis, The Prophet, and that's one of the first things he asks as well. And if you don't know your numbers for your business, then he considers this might not be a good idea to invest in this particular business person, because if you're in business and if you're conscious and responsible about your business, then you're going to know what your numbers are. You can't help to know what your numbers are because you're looking at them every single day. It's something that you're thinking about. It's something that in the forefront of your mind, every single day in regards to your business. So let's talk real quick about what we're talking about. You need to know your revenues, the money that's coming in from the sale of your product or service, and you need to know what's going out, what your expenses are in reference to your business. So, revenues, money coming in, expenses, money going out. How do you know that? You need to be able to put that into a ledger. You need to be able to put that on paper so you can see it. You need to put that in the cloud somewhere, and we're going to discuss that a bit more. We're going to dive into that a bit more in our next segment with a certified bookkeeper. Yes, Miss Dominique Henry is coming from the Refund Company, and she has experience, many years experience in the bookkeeping space. She's been behind some very great businesses even here in the Houston area, and you're not even aware. It's not important necessarily to be the person out front. That's one thing you can learn about in business, that you don't always have to be the number one person. You can build a great company, you can build a great brand by being the back office for people. That's something that we also offer as well in our consulting side of our business. Yes, we do insurance, but we also help businesses legitimize themselves by doing all the things that we've discussed in the previous episodes. We also help businesses in regards to bookkeeping as well, because we understand that everybody that knows how to make a good meal, right? They can make good food. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're equipped necessarily with the means or the abilities to handle the back office stuff in your business. We want to talk a bit about that because that's so important. That's really why a lot of businesses fail, for lack of organization. So we want to give that information to you so you can be equipped. So please stay with us. You're watching Street MBA. We're going to get the information to you. Stay tuned.
How's your financial situation, friends? It's time to open that lower drawer and pull it all out. Hi, I'm Margie Duncan with the Arias Group. Have you considered hiring a financial coach? Are you currently thinking about buying a house? If so, now you have a mortgage to consider. Might include cleaning up your credit, securing financing, or home, life, and auto insurance. Regarding your personal finances, how well are you managing your money? Are you planning for retirement? Are you even on track? Here at the Arias Group, we coach you through all of the above, as well as get to know your individual goals and priorities. Give us a call at 713-545-6830. Again, the Arias Group Financial Coaches. Give us a call today and receive a free financial coaching session and game plan.
It's Jonathan with Street MBA. I got Mr. Larry here from Elite Agents Solutions. And I have a quick question for you, Mr. Larry. What's the importance of bookkeeping to your business? Why is it important to have a good bookkeeping program or be doing bookkeeping for your business?
Okay, and that's a great question, Jonathan. Bookkeeping will tell you where you are. It also tells you where you've been.
Okay.
So success is based on a vision. I know where I'm going. And then you got to break that down to how am I going to get there? And that's what bookkeeping gives you. So that gives you kind of a forewarning. All right, I got to deal with this or I got to deal with that. Rather than having a shotgun approach, I'm just going to do all this stuff. If you don't know where you're, it's like using your GPS. That's what it is for you. A little story about that. I was going to an event and my GPS said go this way, which was the shortest, most efficient way to get there.
Right.
In my mind, I knew if I go the freeway this other way, that's what I think is the easiest way. And I chose to follow the GPS.
Wow.
When you follow the GPS, you don't waste time going out of the way. You're on track with where you're going. That's what is so important for businesses.
There you go. You heard it right here. That's some good street talk right there. You don't want to do it your own way. You need to actually look at the data, look at the numbers to determine which direction you need to go with your business. Thanks a lot, Larry, for your input and for the quick interview for us at Street MBA.
Appreciate it.
Like I've said in previous episodes, and I said previously in this particular show, we want your input. We want your business. If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur out here already doing the things that we're talking about, we want you to be on the show and talk to us and share some of the secrets that are making you successful in your business currently. If you're just somebody that's interested and you're willing to be a volunteer for us and be on camera and talk to us about what you think about business and what you know about business, to give us a few seconds, you can actually send it to my social media and I'll get it onto the show. You can get me on Instagram at @yourboyJD, or very simply, you can send it to @Watch Street MBA. Yes, that's actually the Instagram handle, Watch Street MBA. But without further ado, I have the wonderful Miss Dominique Henry from the Refund Company with us this morning to discuss bookkeeping. We want to dive right in. We don't have a whole lot of time, but we want to get the meat. We want to get that street talk from her. So let's get right into it. The first question I want to ask this lovely lady as I introduce you, ma'am, is how did you even get into bookkeeping? Tell us about that.
So I got into bookkeeping when I was working in the music industry.
Okay.
I started off in distribution.
You said the music industry, though. What
Yes.
exactly were you doing in the music industry?
I worked in the gospel music industry. Let me start there.
Okay.
So I've done everything from radio promotions, marketing, distribution, artist management, etc.
Wow.
But diving into the bookkeeping side, as a distribution liaison, I was responsible for knowing the cost of the product start to finish. So I had to know what it cost for the studio time, the artist, the actual making of, this was back on CDs. So making, when the physical CDs and all that, on
Right.
down to what it was gonna cost to put them in the stores, all of that. And so
So wait. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure we draw this out because I'm absolutely fascinated at how entrepreneurs have all these multiple skills that they're bringing into their businesses now. So now you tell me that you weren't a bookkeeper at all.
no,
You didn't grow up as a little girl and say, I want to be a bookkeeper when I grow up. Is that what you're saying?
I wanted to be a nurse and a psychologist.
Look how far we come.
Right.
Do you still want to do those things? Are those still elements of your personality that you bring into your business?
Actually, yes. I feel like I was a psychiatrist in my former life.
Oh, wow. So you got reincarnated
Yes.
as an entrepreneur.
Correct. Correct.
But tell me more. As you develop, as you continue in the gospel industry, you found a role in that particular company doing what?
So, like I was saying, on the distribution side, we were a little bit limited on staff, to be honest. And so it ended up falling into my lap to also make sure that those things were itemized out. Dealing with the number of artists that we had on the label and the number of CDs and stuff that were being released back then, it was a lot of work. And
I'm sure it was.
when I first came in, I
So
had
around what year is this? Just so we can have an idea of where the technology was.
this was 2001 or 2.
Okay, so the
Start
technology in regards to online stuff is really low at this point. So
Yes.
you doing ledgers
This is
and
yes.
checkbooks.
Absolutely. This is bookkeeping 101 where
Yeah.
I got my notebook out with no Excel spreadsheets. We wasn't doing none of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now mind you didn't even know to do it. Were you trained at all?
No, to be perfectly honest. So I had a hiccup because when I was one of the projects that I was working on, we ran out of money because we weren't keeping up with the books. And so that let me know the actual importance.
Wait, I can't just let you run past that.
Yeah,
Can't
I can't name no
past.
names.
I don't want you to name any names. That's not the type of details I want. But I
Yeah.
want my people out here in the streets, in entrepreneurship, because I people may not know this, but for years I was a painter.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
I did residential home painting. I even had a
Okay.
painting company. But one of the things that I learned very early in regards to that business, because people know this from having DIY projects. I'm gonna go a bit more into this in the next segment. Is that you find yourself spending a whole going back and forth to Home Depot and running up the
Yes.
bill with DIY projects. But if you got a solid plan and you've done bookkeeping before, then you go into that. Listen, I'm giving too much away
Yeah.
for free. But go ahead. I want you to tell me a bit more as you continue to evolve in your role and got into more bookkeeping. Tell me more at the record label.
Yeah, so after that first hiccup, and I got chewed out right and left.
Okay, we were talking about how y'all ran out of money. That's an important
Yes,
point.
yes. Hiccup, I'm gonna call it a hiccup.
Yeah, you call it hiccup, but bankruptcy is real. But
Yeah,
please,
but
continue.
we really did, and so it was a huge issue because the project is paid for, it has to be released, and then we didn't have the funds to properly market and distribute the record. So
Wow.
that was a hard lesson learned.
Ooh, I hate to cut in again. I hate
Mm-hmm.
to cut in again, but listen. One of my business coaches. Now, this is essentially what we do here on the show. We're doing business coaching
Yeah,
right here live
right.
on TV. Actually, that's something that we're actually developing, and I want you to begin to think about as well, because I know you know lots of people. Being a bookkeeper, you know a lot of businesses and people that are already in the space, people who are developed, some who are not developed.
Yes.
We want to develop an incubator here. So we want to be working with a university and bringing in master's students.
Nice.
And we want to actually develop businesses. So begin to think about that. Now, I'm putting it out there into the airwaves as well, into the universe, as they say,
Yeah.
so people can begin to mentally prepare themselves if they might be willing participants to be
Yeah.
involved in something like that. But please continue.
Yeah, so once I came across that issue, and we literally had to sideline the project.
Wait, the whole record?
Yes.
Y'all had created a record.
Had no, because this is before the gospel industry was as big as it is now.
Right.
So there was touring, but it was more like going church to church. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
you getting offerings.
Yeah. And so that's not the same as where we are. And so we had to sideline the project because we had to come up with another set of money in
So
order
somebody
to.
dreamed that.
It was put on hold. It was put on hold.
What happens to a dream deferred? Go ahead.
That's exactly. Yeah, so I kind of had to go on to the next one because the company didn't go bankrupt or anything, but
Okay.
just the budget for that project.
Right.
So
But how many artist profiles have we seen over and over
Yeah.
again where they said that they made 2-3 albums before the album that people heard came out?
yes, exactly. And so when we went on to the next artist, and I knew what to look for, what to make sure I'm holding ledgers for proper ledgers, not just we're spending this and spending that.
There's a real principle that we're about to gloss over.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go into
Okay,
it.
well,
So
go ahead, tell us
itemization. Itemization is important because saying, we spent $500
Right.
and not we spent $500 on studio time is two completely different aspects of what's happening. The money is gone regardless, but knowing
Right.
where it was allocated to so that you can properly save next time or know what you need to actually budget for next time is important.
Allocation.
Yes. And I think that is the important part of bookkeeping. That's the part that most people don't know. I have a lot of clients that come into the office and they want to talk about how do I get all these tax write-offs and what can I do? What all can I write off? And it's like, those are great questions,
That
but
you should have asked at the beginning of the year.
yeah, let's take a step back though, and let's say, what does your profit look like? What do you make? First of all, what do you do? What do you make? And what are your expenses categorized in said business? So
Okay.
if you're making, I'm just put a low number just to keep it simple. If you're making $5,000 a month in profit, and you can only tell me, well, I'm spending about $3,000, but you can't tell me what you're spending it on. You need a bookkeeper.
You need a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
You need a bookkeeper. Well, there's one thing I want to rewind just a little bit. Something that you said I think is very important. You said the first project you didn't write things down. Well, you
Right.
were writing things down, but you
Didn't
weren't really paying
categorize
attention.
it.
You didn't categorize. You didn't
Yeah.
plan ahead.
Right.
But then the second project came along, and then you learned.
Yes.
So that's the street talk I want to make sure that people get. Is you can't continue to do the same things
Right.
over and over again and not actually stepping back after you've had a failure, because we're all going to fail, right? We're all going to fail in business, you know.
Yeah.
But the important part is to actually stand back and assess what actually went wrong.
Yes.
Because I know people in business over and over and over again, they make the same mistakes over and over and over again because they don't even care to sit back and just take a moment to think. Just to think, why I keep on running out of potatoes?
Absolutely. So in that particular instance, like I said, just jotting down that this is the cost of studio time, this is the cost of mixing and mastering, makes a difference, because you might have an artist and you're spending, let's say, instead of saying I spent $500, instead I spent $500 on studio time, makes a difference, because
Right.
if you have another studio that is of the same quality, same equipment and such, that's going to charge you $250, now you can allocate, okay, cool, I can actually save a little bit here, and now I can put this money elsewhere, as opposed to just, oh, well, no, we spent $500 and I don't know where the $500 went. So you can't make your ebbs and flows for expenses that may be a little bit too expensive per project, if that makes sense.
That's right. That's about cash flows.
Yeah.
That's even getting into CEO talk, because you think about what the budget is and what the larger vision is.
Yes.
So listen, we're gonna have to get you back, because right now we're talking supervisor stuff, but stuff you alluding to some CEO type stuff. So, but we want to take them step by step.
Okay.
But before we go any further, and before we get you off the air, we want to make sure that people know how to reach you and to be able to exploit the services that you're offering to the community.
Yes. So our company is THG Financial Group, the umbrella. The refund company is our business services side. We handle the tax preparation and the bookkeeping for our clients there. The phone number is 713-673-8281. And any of our staff can assist you. You can actually go online to the website, therefundcompany.com. You can book an appointment. You can book an in-person appointment, a virtual appointment, whatever you're comfortable with in this time of pandemic that we're getting over. But yeah, you can reach us anywhere. We got chat on the website. Someone can assist you live in real time. We're definitely here and available.
Well, listen, that's absolutely awesome. I'm so glad you joined us. I want to make sure our people understand what you really brought to the show today. We want to make sure people write it down.
Yeah.
Right? Begin to do some bookkeeping. We didn't even get a chance to talk about QuickBooks.
Right.
Some people out there have a love-hate relationship with QuickBooks. Whatever software that you may use, we can discuss that a little bit more further into the show. But I want to make sure people get that they need to learn from their mistakes, and they need to actually write it down and know what their costs are.
And if I could just say real quick,
Say it.
QuickBooks
please.
is great. Quick bookkeeping software is great. My recommendation is to get a bookkeeper, regardless of what software they use, regardless of what software you use. Using a person that has expertise in the field will save you time, save you money, and help you prepare for the business so that you can make more money and spend less. It is not something that a software is going to do for you. I say get you a personal bookkeeper, absolutely.
Okay, so there was something you said you wanted to make sure that we got out. Was that the word that you wanted to make sure we got to the people?
Yeah, because people don't know that they need an actual bookkeeper. They feel like if I'm using Excel spreadsheet or software or whatever is cool. And it's cool to have the numbers, but
Right.
a bookkeeper can tell you, hey, this is how you can maximize on something. Can I give a little quick tip?
Please, that's exactly what you're here for.
Yeah, so for example, say for instance, you have a home and you have a business meeting, right?
Okay.
So if you are going to have your meeting at your home, you're thinking about, okay, well, I know I can write off the expenses like the food, the whatever, right?
Right.
And that will work. And QuickBooks will allow you to, QuickBooks or any of those software, Waves, all of them, will allow you to allocate those funds in there. But a bookkeeper can tell you, hey, so you can actually pay yourself, meaning your company, to rent out this particular space where you're having this event. The space happens to be your home. So your company can pay you a rental fee for that event space for that day, in addition to the food and the whatever materials and all that stuff that are written out. So it is important to have a bookkeeper so we can go one by one, item by item, event by event, pertaining to your specific business and help you really maximize on your money, because at the end of the day, that's what we're in business for, is to make money.
Oh, man. Listen, we're going to maximize every single opportunity we have, both on this show and these relationships that we have with one another. I need y'all to eat off these people that are coming on the show.
Yeah.
I need y'all to do that, because not just the knowledge, but even the services that they're offering, because as you can see, they're offering information that's absolutely invaluable. When we come back, we have another interview with a CPA that's going to break it down even further with us. We can go a little bit further into the weeds, but stick with us. You're watching Street MBA.
If you are looking for someone who can provide stunning photography and videos and knows exactly what it takes to get your listing sold or boost your personal brand, Matt Pierce Photography is your solution. My focus is on helping you make the very best first impression that you possibly can. We help you use images and videos effectively in your brand and marketing design to tell your story. Give your corporate image the presence it deserves. Your headshot and your branding is your first impression with clients and business partners. What message are you sending? At Matt Pierce Photography, we believe that pictures and video make information easier to remember, so it makes your message stick. With clean, sleek, simple, and powerful, well-edited images and videos will make you stand out from the crowd. Get your products or listings sold quicker and establishing you as an expert, attracting new clientele. We also offer an array of other products and services such as video walkthroughs, property and agent commercial videos, and a full-service video production house to help bring your story to life. See, when you grow, we grow. So let's grow together. Matt Pierce Photography is your solution for your real estate, corporate, branding, or marketing photography and video needs. Take a decisive step on growing your image and telling your brand story. Call me today for a free consultation.
Welcome back to Street MBA. Listen, my energy is up here after that interview right there. She gave so much great information to us. I hope that you're getting it. I hope that you're liking and subscribing. I mentioned that earlier in the show, that I want you guys to help us build that YouTube presence, so we can have a presence and a face and be able to engage with you all, because we want you to be able to like and comment on the videos, because we want to be able to add your input into our show, so we can continue to evolve it and create content that's relevant to you and your situation. We're not just talking to our audience here in the Houston area, although most of the people that we've had on the show so far have been in the Houston area. We want to reach out as well into our Beaumont audience, into the audience that is in Atlanta as well, even the audience that's in Mexico. We want you guys to participate in the show. That's the importance of us building the YouTube channel, because we can comment, we can actually have a conversation on YouTube about what we're talking about. If there's some points that you think that we need to focus on in the show, of course you can email us as well. You can email me at jonathan@ggcgroupcorp.com. You can also reach me in the social media channels. But that's why we have the YouTube. It's going to be there every time we broadcast on Roku or on the regular satellite station. It's also going to be going live, and it's also going to be feeding into YouTube as well. So, having said that, that's all the receipts that we have in reference to the show all around the different platforms that we have on the internet. But what about the receipts for your business? We want to really look into what your business can begin to look like and develop into when you actually start putting the numbers together for your business. When you actually, like Dominique already said, when you have people on your team, because listen, I'm not confused about this. I know that some people are going to watch the show who are just interested in business in general. They may not have been thinking about business. They just like it's a good production and they enjoy my personality. There's going to be a segment of the population that watches the show for that. But for the most part, the people that are going to actually be interested in the show are people who are trying to learn, who already watch videos, who already consume content, whatever platform they may consume it from. They're already doing some preparation in regards to business. They already have some interest in business, right? So what we want to make sure that we're doing in speaking to these particular type of people is that you're getting the message in a way that you can really receive it, okay? That you can really apply it to your life and to your business and be able to move forward. Now, as you see your business evolve, as you see yourself getting sales, as you see that money coming in, you may be seeing the money going out as well. I can tell you from DIY to actually having a painting business that one of the first things I learned was to actually know how much money I was spending on a project. I can't tell you how important that is because as a painter, I purchase paintbrushes all the time. And when I purchased a paintbrush, because I am a person of integrity, I didn't necessarily apply the cost of that paintbrush to every single customer that I did business for, that I did painting for. Why? Because I may have purchased that paintbrush prior to even being on that project, right? So why would I charge this particular customer who I didn't buy a brand new paintbrush for that particular project for another paintbrush? So then my bids were lower than the average person because I figured if I'm using my own tools, then why should I charge a customer for those tools right there? So those small materials, which I thought were small materials, weren't actually in my cost when I was bidding for a project. So what would happen is that in the middle of the project, I would be running out of materials. My paintbrush isn't working as well. Well, I've already received half of the money for the project because if you're any type of contractor, you're not going to do a project unless you first receive a first installment payment. It's usually 3 payments in regards to a contractor's project. There's the first payment, there's a payment in the middle, and there's a payment when the project is over. So we start the project. I get in there with my used paintbrush, start painting, get halfway through, realize I didn't estimate enough paint. So I need 1 more gallon. Really, I just need a quart, but they don't sell quarts. At least sometimes they don't. Some paint stores sell quarts, but I need a little bit more than that, so I need to buy a whole gallon of paint, right? So I buy another gallon of paint, I buy another paintbrush while I'm at it, and that's all coming out of my cost because that wasn't in the initial bid. Are you still with me? We're talking about balance sheets. We're talking about getting your numbers right. We're talking about understanding what you're actually spending in order to do business. Now, so I'm looking at it, and then at the end of the day, I'm going to make a long story short. I'll tell you this, that I was doing paint jobs, receiving cash money, but I wasn't moving forward very much. I used that example before about you spending $100 to purchase a product to sell. You sell that product for $100. I'm sorry, you sell that product for $150 or for $200, and now you have $200. You already spent $100, so now you really only have $100. So now you're back at square one. But what do? You take $100 and you spend on yourself, and you take the other $100 and buy another product so you can sell it again, and you've gone nowhere. Why? You don't really understand how cash flows. So let's take a deeper dive into how cash flows by looking at this balance sheet. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. Let's see. Now, let's look at our balance sheet. This is just an example company 2017. But what I want you to see is the different categories we have here. We have our assets. You see that there? You can't see my cursor on the screen there, at least I can't see it. The assets, you have your liabilities, you have your stockholders' equity. Assets, you hear conversations about that all the time, so you should have some inkling of what an asset is. Assets is something that holds value and or creates income. That's what an asset is. Either it holds value, it's a very easy example for that is a piece of property. The property is going to most likely mature or increase in value. That building, property is going to increase in value, right? That's something that's going to go up on your balance sheet. We're not speaking symbolically anymore. We're actually looking at the balance sheet. So that's what an asset. What an asset can also do. An asset can be a large piece of equipment, and that piece of equipment, is used to create income. Right? So that piece of equipment, you make a purchase, a capital expenditure, they call it in a technical term, for a piece of equipment, and that equipment, once it's functioning properly, is going to create products, it's going to create a function that then can be sold, and it's going to create revenue. That's why it's an asset. A liability, on the other hand, is some money that you owe. That's money that you borrowed, and now, or a service that you've already promised to render, right? Because listen, somebody can make an order. Let's say you're making cakes, right? You're making cakes, and they say they want 20 cakes for their family reunion, all different, assorted different types of cakes, and you told them you're not making no cakes. I'm not making one cake until you give me a deposit, right? So you get the deposit for those 20 cakes. Let's say it was $300. You receive a $300 deposit. Well, now you have a liability because you haven't given them any cakes. So now you owe them. You see, because they gave you money, but you haven't given them product. So now you have what is called, if you look at the balance sheet, is not a notes payable. I'm looking for my accounts payable. There you go, right there. That's an accounts payable. That $300 deposit that you receive goes into your accounts payable because you still have to render a service. You still have to offer a product for something that you have not created yet. You receive money, but you have not rendered that service or given that product in response to the deal that you made. So let's look at some assets. You actually need cash on hand. Did you know that was even a thing? That's something we discussed a bit in regards to our bank account. When you have your business a bank account, if all your cash flow coming in, your revenue is going to be your deposits. All your cash flow going out is going to be your expenses that's going out, right? So you got credits and you got deposits, right? So now the cash going out, that's going out to your expenses. The cash going in, that's your revenue, that's your deposits. But at the end of the month, you need to have a balance. If you don't have a remaining balance, like I said from my previous example, if you have $100 and then another $100 comes in the middle of the month because you sold a couple of products, now you got $300 in your account. If you zero out that account every single month, then what does that say about your business? If you don't have cash on hand at the end of the month, what does that say in regards to you? But you wouldn't even be aware of that if you hadn't been doing proper bookkeeping. Are you still with me? Do you see what I'm talking about here? You still need to have cash on hand. We're only brushing across the surface here. So we're talking assets, money making, things that you have. Even your inventory is considered an asset. When you purchase all the flour, all the grease, all the butter, the sugar and everything you need to make those 30 cakes, that's part of your inventory. That's part of your supplies. Even the insurance that you pay every single year, when you pay it ahead of time, because you can pay your policy on a monthly basis or you can pay it on an annual basis. It's up to you. how you do it, but you prepaid it. That's an asset to you because you don't have to pay that throughout the year. That's something that's a constant flow in regards to your cash flow here on your balance sheet, because as the months go by on that prepaid insurance, that number is going to come down. It's not going to be $1,500 because it's $1,500 this month, but if it's a monthly bill of $150, and next month it's going to be $1,350. You see, that's how your cash is being adjusted. You see, because you're doing proper bookkeeping. You can see that, okay, I don't have an expense for the next 6 months in regard to my insurance because I prepaid it, but I can see now my prepaid balance. If you have your balance sheet that you look at every single month, my balance now is $150. That means I only have 1 more month left that I've paid for my insurance. I'm going to have to pay that $1,500 again soon. Do I have the cash flow? But you don't know if you have the cash flow if you're not looking at your numbers. That's what we really want to zero in today, is on bookkeeping. When we come back, we're going to go look at it a bit further so we can make sure we have the understanding. You're watching the Street MBA. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Patria Leone. I believe in every single thing that I do, and I want you to do the same. You deserve to look and feel beautiful or handsome. Be empowered. You're entitled to be at your best mind, physical, and financial fitness. As the CEO of Health for Wealth, I've developed a 4-pillar method based on your mindset, overall health and wellness, relationships, and finances. All of these are the foundation of your life, and they integrate whether it's in your business or your personal life. I've been down, and I've had some strong struggles and challenges. And I'm convinced that every habit and behavior creates your choices, and you become the sum of your choices. You want to feel better, look better, eat better, think better, work better, love better, perform better, be better. What are you waiting for? Remember, you have only one life, one body, and one mind. And there's a solution to every circumstance, and it starts with you. It's time for you to take charge and thrive now. Invest in yourself. To schedule your free 30-minute consultation that has every potential to change everything, call now at 602-910-1340 or visit forhealthywealthy.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Patria Leone or follow me on Facebook at Health for Wealth LLC. And don't forget to check out my podcast on YouTube at Health for Wealth.
Welcome back. I hope you guys are being blessed as much as I have been on today's show. I have to tell you, Dominic Henry was a great interview. All the insight that she gave us in regards to bookkeeping just blew my socks off, from the things about the music industry, just the people just understanding the basics about their business. And that's something we want to talk about just a little bit more before we close the show, because I want you to really get an idea, to get a grasp of the importance of having receipts, just records of the transactions that you're making. Even if you don't have or can't afford right now a subscription to a software, which is actually a very nominal fee per month, or you don't necessarily feel like you have the knowledge, don't have the confidence in yourself to be able to record and keep up with the transactions. There's lots of apps that you can use. But before we get into all that type of stuff, what I really want you to see is this because I like to create scenarios for people to understand. So let's just give a quick, for instance, if I came up to your booth, you were out at a vendor fair, or you were at one of your church functions or some type of function in your community where they allow vendors to come, and you're bringing your product, something that you believed in, something that you believe that you're birthing into the earth, some solution that you're bringing to the community and to the world in regards to a product or a service that you're bringing. So you're at your table right? You're working, people love what you're doing, people are purchasing the product, you have a little line. I come walking down as an entrepreneur, feeling myself a bit like I'm Marcus Lemonis or something, walking around trying to figure out things I can invest in, right? I'm pretty fancy, you think? Well, I go to the vendor fair just to look around. I go to the farmer's market just to look around to see what's available. And I find craft stuff all the time. I can tell you about this bacon I got out of the city of Katy, but actually it was in Houston at a farmer's market. But listen, I'm not here to advertise for the butcher, but the bacon is excellent and it doesn't even cost a whole lot of money. Nevertheless, we're talking about bookkeeping. So I'm walking through the farmer's market. And while I'm at the farmer's market, I stop at a table, I see a product, I'm so blown away by it that I do this. I ask you, hey, are you responsible for this product right here? Are you the person that's sharing and distributing this product? Are you the creator of this thing? And you say, of course, enthusiastically, absolutely. I'm selling my own stuff. I'm out here. I've been doing it for the last year and things are great. I say, man, I would really like to see this in front of more people. I have a network of people that I already talk with. I have a television show that I can bring you on with the product. First thing I would like to know from you though is, how many have you sold? How many products have you actually sold? How many did you sell last month? You said you've been in business for 2 years now. How many did you sell last month? Oh, I did pretty good. I did 5 different farmers markets. Every week I had a farmers market and I sold. Well, how many did you sell? How many jars of your product did you bring to the farmers market? How much did that cost? And then how much money did you make off the sales of said product? That's what I would like to know from you, because listen, I'm blown away. This product solves a great problem. People love it. It's accessible. You're charging a fair price for it, which I think is a great price for it, because I'm willing to spend my money for it. All I would like to know before we can go any further, because it seems that you want to blow this thing up. It seems that you want to do big things with this product right here, but I would like to know, how's the product really doing? How much money can we make? Huh? Can we change people's lives? Can we scale this thing? Can we take it from a lemonade stand to a lemonade brand? Because listen, this stuff's great. And I want to see it get bigger than what it is right now. Do you know how much you sold? Are you aware of your numbers? That's the importance of having bookkeeping. That's the importance of having a bookkeeper. Dominique told you that was her street talk to you, was that you need to get an actual bookkeeper. You are a creator, you are an inventor, you may be a spokesperson, you may be the person that does all the talking, you may be the person that does all the marketing. Whatever you are to your business, unless of course your service is bookkeeping or accounting of some sort, but unless that's your wheelhouse in regards to your business, the folks in accounting, the folks in bookkeeping, the people that do this stuff on a daily basis, they recommend that you get a professional. Hey, on Street MBA, we'd like to encourage people to be hands-on on their enterprise. So I'm going to always encourage you to know your business. I'm going to always encourage you to figure out what it is that's going on in your business. You can always keep the people around you accountable, because if you don't know it yourself, how are you going to be able to check somebody else that's just helping you to balance your checkbook? That's essentially what a bookkeeper is doing, because those are the same books that you have to surrender to the IRS when you file your tax return for your business and your personal taxes every single year. So this paperwork is quite important. Let's leave aside somebody trying to invest in your business. Let's just talk about preparing your taxes every year so you can continue to be in business, so you can continue to provide for your family, so you can continue to influence your community. You're not going to be in business if you're in the hole with the IRS. You got to get your books together. Think about these things as you're building your business so it's not bad habits that you develop and then you have to backtrack on. Let's get it right the first time, huh? It's a whole lot easier when you start disciplines in the very beginning of things. So that's the encouragement this week from the Street MBA. We're going to continue to do what we're doing. We want to continue to provide solid content, evidence-based, practical information, solid interviews with business leaders, people on the ground today, right now, talking business. But hey, how will you even know about the show? How will people even know about the show if you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel? If you don't hit that like and subscribe so you can know the videos are going to normally drop on Wednesdays. So be ready when you see the notifications to check in with us. See what we're talking about, share it with your friends, let them know that they can watch this on various ways. I'm promoting it all the time on every single opportunity and every social media channel that we have out there. We have Watch Street MBA on Instagram. We also have my own page, your boy JD, promoting the show. We have Now Media TV. We have various outlets. The most proficient way I've found, aside from the old rabbit ears, is the Roku channel through the Boxcast app, right? The Roku platform, I should say, the Boxcast app. On that platform and search for Now Media TV. You can watch us live every week, 6 o'clock, Tuesdays and Fridays. Remember, like and subscribe. Continue watching Watch Street MBA. Talk to you soon.
This has been a Now Media television feature presentation. All rights reserved.